Hello, grief therapist Carolyn here. This is a video about how to ground your parents or not to ground them. Usually, when I talk about grounding, it's from this kind of calming, rooted meditation place. This is literally about grounding your parents. So, this is a video for caregivers or almost caregivers, which I'll go into in a second. It also tends to be for our kind of Gen X or it could be our older millennials, but people who are shifting into that caregiving stage of taking care of older elderly parents, right? So I had a client, she shared a story with me and she gave me permission to share it here. We started a session and she said, "I want to ground my parents." So when she was 17, before cell phones, she was supposed to call and check in with her parents when she was out with her friends. And when she didn't do that, she'd come home and they'd want to ground her. Now, so that's when she was 17. Now her parents are 87 and they don't pick up the phone when she calls to check in, and now she wants to ground them. Here's what happened. She went to visit mom and dad on a Saturday. Dad is the caregiver for mom, who has more health problems. The daughter was there, and at one point, dad wasn't feeling well, so they took his blood pressure, and it was low. The daughter stayed, hung out. His blood pressure came up to a normal level, so she left. She had to go back to her family. This was on like a Saturday. The next day was Sunday. She called, no answer. She called all day. No answer. She was starting to get worried, but then she's like, it's probably nothing. So Monday, the day starts, she's at work, she calls, no answer. Throughout the day, she's worried, she's trying to work, but now she's like, oh my gosh, what if something happens? Catastrophizing a little bit. At the end of the day, in fact, that evening, she calls because she's been calling all day. Finally, dad picks up the phone. Oh, everything's fine. She wanted to ground her parents. So she came into our therapy session with, can I ground my 87-year-old parents? And this is what therapy or caregiver support groups are for, a place for us to kind of talk and vent about some of these things. Right? So we're talking about role reversal here, right? Where does this shift happen where we feel we have to really be responsible or start taking care of our parents? And it's not usually a delineation, right? It happens slowly over time. Certainly we're talking about safety. We want our parents to be safe, right? But there's often this kind of middle ground where it's hard to know, where sometimes the parent feels like their kids are just being bossy. And it is true that the parents functioned all these years and raised really high functioning kids. So where is the place where, okay, things are going to start to shift and change? And that can be really hard. Feelings can be hurt. Sometimes conversations need to be had. Right? I also just want to talk about 3 technology pieces. I'm not getting paid to promote these, although maybe I should. But I wanted to share these because these could be helpful. So what this daughter was saying was helpful is her parents only have a flip phone. They don't want a smartphone. And she's encountered other people whose parents do not want a smartphone. They only want a flip phone. But on a flip phone, you can't do Find My iPhone, or you can't do Life 360 or one of these apps, right? So what she did and what other people have done is they put an AirTag on the phone. So the AirTag will help you track your mom or dad. Are they at home? Did they go to a store? Have they been out for a long period of time? It can just give you a sense of where they are. There's also this phone called Jitterbug. It's a smartphone, bigger print, and supposed to be very helpful for older adults. Something to look into. The other thing is that this doesn't have to do with the phone, but it has to do with iPads. There are some iPads who can run on the 5G network and not on Wi-Fi. This daughter was saying her parents don't have network at all. They don't have Wi-Fi. So if you can get on a 5G network, because the dad, in this case, had a sibling who actually had a cancer diagnosis, and the only way they couldn't see each other in person, but they could see each other over the iPad. So those are some tech ideas, and wanted to touch on the role reversal, and when things shift, it's an ongoing challenge. So hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening.